Yes guys, and welcome back to a brand new video guys, and in today's video guys we are going to be talking about Manchester United's last game that we went and played. Everton guys, at home, at Old Trafford guys. Yes guys, it ended in a 1-1 draw. Not good enough for Man United, and we've got to be beating teams like Everton, especially that we're in a title race as well this season. Simply not good enough. But yes guys, let's get straight into today's videos. We made 3 changes from the last game against Aston Villa. Talking about the starting 11, so we started with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Varane, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Greenwood, Fernandes, Martial and Cavani. Getting into the overall reaction now. Man United held by Everton. Start making the right decisions. Ollie, disappointing, it's frustrating and annoying. Another 2 points dropped. Teams like Everton you have to beat. We should have won. We played much better from during the week. High tempo, high intensity. The substitutions came on at the right time. Yet again, Fred and McTominay are not the right midfield duo. Happy to see Martial back on the score sheet. We played with urgency, not good enough. We had a quick and bright start. Everton came back into the game. At one point, Everton didn't look like they were going to score. Everton capitalised on a mistake in the midfield. We deserved to drop points, down to the lack of drive. Did we get lucky at the end? Has the international break come at the right time? I thought we played quite well, in the first half especially. But we shouldn't be drawing to Everton. What more can I say? Decision making at the end let us down. United never capitalised. First half good, second half frustrating. Overall okay performance, onwards and upwards. A point it is. Anyway guys, let's get straight into today's video. What did I make of the performance? It's disappointing, annoying, frustrating, spineless and not good enough performance by the players. I think you've got to look at the game overall as a whole and say, look, at the end of the day, we didn't win the game, did we? Teams like Everton, you've got to be beaten in a title race as well, especially like us as well this season. Firstly, I want to say, Ollie's got the players now. He wanted the players in the summer, and he's got the likes of Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo to come in and make an impact at the team. Obviously, most of them have made an impact anyway at the end of the day. He's come in and he's got the players that he wants now. And there's no excuses now. Games like this against Everton, you've got to be beaten. If you don't beat them, there's something wrong with this team. And I think there is something wrong with this team at the minute. And I think we've got to address those problems in this international break right now. One of them being the defence, because we're struggling to keep hold of clean sheets at the minute. We only took 1 clean sheet in 18 games. That is poor by us. Especially with the defenders that we've got as well this summer as well. Obviously with the defenders that we've got right now as well. It's not good enough. I'm going to first talk about the facts. We've dropped 7 points already. 2 points away against Southampton. Poor. Got to be beating teams like Southampton. We've dropped 5 points at home to Aston Villa and Everton. And we've played 4 games at home and we've picked up 7 points out of the 12. And that is dreadful. And that just goes to show we've dropped 5 points at home this season. That is simply not good enough for a team like Man United. We can't keep hold of clean sheets as well. And we've got a habit of conceding a goal. So it's just not good enough at this moment in time. I'm sorry, but I'm spitting facts here. And a performance like that against Everton was not good enough in the end. I thought we played some good stuff at times. We did sort of drop off and we let Everton back into the game. That's down to us as well. At the end of the day, it's one of those games where you should have been coming into this game thinking this is must win, must 3 points here. You cannot be drawing to teams like this and you cannot be losing to teams like this. And what do we go and do? We drop points yet again to another crap side in Everton. But I have to give them all the praise. They were brilliant against us. Obviously they deserve a draw. Did they deserve a draw with the work that they put in as well? But there's not much more really I could really say. I thought we did play with urgency at times. We did look quick and bright from the start. And then the rest was just not good enough, to be honest. I thought the way how we were creating the chances early in the first half, the goal was coming. It's one of them. Questions have got to be asked, and it's just simply not good enough on this side. We've got to be doing better against teams like Everton. Simply disappointed. Ollie will be disappointed after that. And he needs to get his act together. Start making the right decisions, Ollie, because at the end of the day, playing McTominay and Fred in the middle, they're not working. You need someone like Matic and Donny, or a Pogba or something like that. Get them more involved as well. He started his best 11. No, he didn't. He didn't start Ronaldo. Didn't start Pogba. And in games like this, you've got to be starting your best teams as well. Never mind dropping players before the international break. Play your best players in the big games that you need them to turn up to. I understand Ronaldo's 36. You've got to be playing your best players at the end of the day. Annoying and frustrating to drop 2 points. I mean, we've got to learn from these situations, and it's not good enough at the end of the day. But getting into the game now, I thought the first half kicked off. I thought we were the better side. I thought we came out on the front foot. We created chances. I thought we were passing, moving. We played with urgency. We played with high intensity, high tempo. We got in between the lines. We made runs in from behind. We were the better side in the first half. Don't get me wrong. And then I thought we were creating the good chances. We had moments in the game as well, like Cavani as well. So we came close in certain situations as well. And then the more we pressed them, you could sort of see a goal coming. And the more we pressed them, the more we put the pressure onto them. We kept going, we kept putting the pressure onto them. And then, we found that right moment when we needed that moment as well. We were saying, let's get a goal before half time. And then obviously then we kept putting the pressure on, and then Martial got his well-deserved goal, first goal in 8 months as well, which is a long time coming, a long time in the works as well. So he finally got his goal, which I'm happy about, happy for Martial. And then obviously second half, don't think the second half was that brilliant. I think it was very, what could be the word be, very, I don't know how you would, explain that second half, to be honest. Maybe not good enough. I think it was just, I wouldn't say lacklustre, but what we did is really we let Everton back into the game, and I think we sort of let them back in the game in the first half as well, and we had to sort of grow our momentum back into that first half to get our goal in the first half as well. So in the second half we really let Everton back in the game, and then I even said, how do we beat Everton? And one of them was, don't make a mistake in the midfield unless they'll capitalise on it. What did they do? We make a mistake in the midfield and they capitalise on it and they score on it as well. So pathetic in the midfield by Fred. And if that was Matic, he would have fouled Demarai Gray. So it's just decision making and, things that, players should be doing. Fred was trying to out-muscle him and try get a throw in, but not good enough by Fred. And Fred's not the answer at the end of the day. We know that Fred and McTominay are not the answer, and I know they'll have good games and bad games, and I know some fans out there will want to back them, some fans don't like them, but games like this, McTominay and Fred against Everton, it's not good enough. And second half was abysmal, to be honest, all over the shop. Lack of organisation, players out of position as well, and then they get us on that mistake, and then it costs us at the end of the day, and it costs us 2 points as well at home especially. So it's not good enough, and the lack of drive as well could be also the reason why we didn't win that game. A lack of urgency as well in the second half as well, which we showed in the first half but not in the second half, and we just completely let Everton back into the game, which is not good enough on our side. And it's just not good enough. But these players have got to learn. They've got to learn fast, and it's not good enough. You've got to learn from your mistakes, and if you don't learn from them, you're gonna keep making the same mistakes, and then it comes back and gets you on the backside. So it's not good enough from these players. They need to wake up and smell the coffee now. We've got a tough run of games now in October after the international break, so they're gonna have to really get themselves together here. We've got a tough run of games. We've got Leicester, Atalanta, Liverpool, Tottenham, Atalanta. We've got a tough run of games now. Man City as well. We've got a tough run of games coming up. So those players have got to be ready, and we can't be making mistakes like this. And Ollie, start making the right decisions. Never mind doing this. Never mind playing your favourite players. Play the players that should be playing the game at the end of the day, and play the players that are actually have got the qualities as well for that game as well. Don't be just playing them for the sake of it. At the end of the day, play the players who should be playing in that game, and that's the right game for them as well. Disappointed to draw against Everton. It just goes to show one mistake and the game changes. Teams like Everton we have to beat this season, and it's simply not good enough. It's not good enough. Teams like Everton you've got to be beaten in a title charge this season as well, and it's not good enough against a team like Everton. I know they've got some good players in the likes of Demarai Gray and Josh Townsend, who's really got his season going this season as well. I know they've got some good players, but I think we shall be lucky at the end of the day. They didn't have some of their good players, like Clive-Lewin wasn't in the team, Richarlison wasn't in the team, you know, Seamus Coleman wasn't in the team. They were missing out on a load of players in that game. I think going away to Old Trafford for them would be a massive point for them, because, you know, they've had a loads of injuries. They were not probably confident of getting a draw. But what I'm sick and tired of teams coming to Old Trafford is they come to Old Trafford hopeful that they can get a result, that they can get some type of point or get the 3 points or nick it right at the end. And what we're doing is we're letting them come to Old Trafford and we're letting them dictate that game, and we're letting them have the freedom on that ball and do what they want to do, and we let them have so much possession, and we do not do our basics, and we always let teams into the game, and we make it difficult for ourselves. We make it tough for ourselves to get back into these games. And I'm sick and tired of teams coming to Old Trafford and they're trying to spoil the party for us. We've got to spoil the party for them. When you're at home, you've got the home advantage. Why are we dropping points at home, and why are we losing at home? Never mind about, yeah, we're better off going away. And obviously the next game against Leicester might be good for some of our players, but we are doing it time and time again. We're letting the opposition to come to Old Trafford, spoil the party, do what they ever want to do. We do that, all that good work in that first half against Everton. We drop off a little bit, and then we completely capitulated, and we don't deserve the 3 points because we've let them come, and then they've had to work for that point, and we've let them get the point as well, because we are simply not good enough. We always do it. Let the teams come in and do whatever they want to do, and these players are not good enough to just come in and say, go on, have the ball, go and do what you want to do, and we're just going to try and knock you down, and we'll try and break you down. But this team is simply not good enough. We just let the opposition come in and do what they want to do at Old Trafford and spoil the party, because these players are not showing it on the pitch. They're not showing that work rate on and off the ball. I am sick and tired of these players week in, week out at Old Trafford, and they're just letting the opposition do what they ever want to do every single fucking time, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop, and it's annoying me. Every single team, they'll come to Old Trafford and they think that they've got bloody hope of getting something out of it, because it's Old Trafford. It's time to shine, and we do it time and time again. We let the opposition do what they want to do, and we don't take control of that game. Yes, you'll think about Leeds and Newcastle, but then you look at games at Everton and Aston Villa, teams that you got to be beaten as well, in a title charge as well. Simply not good enough. It's got to change, Ollie, and start making the right decisions as well. Stop doing this tiki-taka shit. I'm sick and tired of it as well myself. Get a grip, and let's get going now after this international break. We've got fucking huge games after this as well. Leicester, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, you name it. We've got to fucking step up to the plate now in October. Never mind this time wasting now. We've got to pick up this intensity and this fucking tempo and play. Do not let oppositions come to Old Trafford and do what they want to do. Stop it right now. You got to go and spoil the party for them. If you want this, you fucking fight for it. Fucking fight for that badge. If you want to win those games, you want to win it more. Fucking hell, get a grip. Sick and tired of it as well. Did we get lucky at the end? I think we did. Definitely, for sure. Obviously, they scored the goal, and then you're thinking, well, how did we get away with that? And then obviously, but at the end of the day, I think Mina was offside. At the end of the day, you've got to look at the replay, and you've got to say, well, Mina is offside. Yes, we did get lucky towards the end. Everton probably would have thought they got all 3 points. That would have been heartbreak for us. If we would have lost all 3 points to Everton, that would have been absolute heartbreak. But we got let off one. And these players have got to wake up. They're just letting the opposition do what they want to do at Old Trafford, and it's simply not fucking good enough. Has the international break come at the right time, and where do we go from here onwards? Yeah, I think the international break's come at the right time. I think the international break has probably saved Ollie's job at the minute. Some Ollie outers would say that as well, but I'm not Ollie out. I don't do that bollocks at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, yeah, the international break has definitely come at the right time. Ollie needs to assess those performances. Some performances were good, some of them were really bad, some of them were mediocre as well. The international break has come at the right time. It's time to evaluate, rest, recover, and we go again after the international break. And he's got to really analyse these games back properly. We've got some really tough games coming up after the international break as well. And where do we go from here onwards? We've got big games. We've got to step up to the plate now. We cannot be messing about. When the players get back from the internationals, they've got to come in with high hopes, high expectations. You've got some big games: Leicester, Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool. We've got to go into the games with the right mindset and the right mentality as well. And Ollie has got to get things right now. Start making the right decisions, Ollie. Stop making the wrong ones and put them right, for God's sake. Where do we go from here onwards? We just need to, I think Ollie's got to evaluate those last couple of performances with whoever is around him and assess them back, and let's try and do what we need to do against these teams, because we've got some vital games. I think this month is going to be a season decider with the likes of Liverpool, City coming up as well, and Leicester. We've got to really get a grip now, and we've got to get going now. Some big games coming up. The big players have got to step up at the right times as well, when we need them as well. The players that go on internationals come back, hopefully they'll rest, recover, and we'll go again now after the international break. Who is my man of the match? Oh, it's tough, this one. I think De Gea made some good saves in that game. I thought Wan-Bissaka had a fantastic game. Lindelof didn't have a good game, probably at fault for the goal as well. Varane had an okay game, Shaw had an okay game, Fred, terrible game. I think McTominay did alright, not the best though. I think Martial had a good game despite his goal, then got taken off. Bruno had tried, obviously. It doesn't help that it doesn't have any more leaders on the pitch as well. And we had a lack of leaders on that pitch as well. Greenwood obviously tried as well, Cavani tried as well. I think the only one that really had a go, really tried, I'd say Wan-Bissaka, and had a fantastic game, was Wan-Bissaka. Oh my days, he was unbelievable in that game, Wan-Bissaka. I have to give it to him. Absolutely unreal. How do we beat Leicester City? Now, obviously, coming into this game against Leicester City, it's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a tough one, definitely, for sure. I think this is a fixture that could come into some of our players and sort of say, well, wake up now. This could be a side where we could get our season back going again. I think obviously with Leicester having a poor start as well, I think they'll think this is a game that we probably need as well to get our season back going as well. I think coming into Leicester City, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be tough. I think we always know it's always going to be a difficult game against Leicester. It's never easy against Leicester. Great side, got some great quality players, great manager as well. This is a game where we need to be on our A game, and we've got to go in with the right mindset, the right mentality. We've got to prepare well for this one as well. Leicester, no easy side. I know they might have had a difficult start to the season with 9 points, 8 or 9 points on the board, 13th in the table at the minute. Struggling themselves, but I think they'll all want to try and bounce back, and hopefully they'll want to try put the foot on the pedal after the international break as well. Leicester City, they can be exposed on the left-hand side and also on the right-hand side as well. I think their defence is very sloppy. Lookman doesn't like defending as well, obviously, if he does play in the game. Defensively, all over the place, and they're not organised. They panic under pressure as well, their defence. They can't really keep hold of a lead as well. They go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and then they can't keep hold of a lead, then they concede. They can't really keep hold of a lead. They've not been convincing as well in the last couple of games as well. But they're a very well coached side, very physical side, quick in the transition. They're very well drilled side as well. Rodgers just doesn't know his best 11, his best formation at the minute as well. But they're a very clever side, they know what they're doing. Don't write off this Leicester side, play with lots of energy. They will want to start their season back on track after a poor start as well. I think we don't want to write them off, and we've got to go in with the right mentality in this game against Leicester. So no difficult side against Leicester. It's going to be tough, it's going to be difficult. It's all about how well we prepare for this game, how focused these players are, and Ollie's got to make the right decisions as well. But how do we beat Leicester? Is we've got to be ruthless, we've got to play with high intensity, high tempo, play with intent in our play with energy and purpose. We've got to create the chances, we've got to be clinical, and we've got to take our chances. Don't make any defensive mistakes unless they'll capitalise, and yeah, it's going to be vital that as well, not to make any mistakes. Not to make any mistakes defensively. We've got to get in between the lines. Defence has got to be organised, and we've got to keep Vardy quiet. If we do go behind, we've got to show the team spirit, the character, the fight, passion, and the pride as well. And we know we can do that as well. We've done it many times this season and last season as well. Decision making will be key as well in this game. Fullbacks have got to be effective. We've got to stretch them out. We've got to be brave on the ball. We need to keep our shape, and we've got to keep it tight and compact. Frustrate Leicester as well. We've got to close them down. Don't give them time and space on the ball. Full-backs need to be back in position quick as well, and we've got to pass and move quick as well. Something what we did against Everton: pass and move, and that's what we've got to do. Capitalise on their mistakes. They do tend to make mistakes as well. in the midfield and also defensively as well. So you want to try and capitalise on their mistakes as well and take the chances as well. We're going to make the runs in from behind, and I think that's a weakness in their side, the runs in from behind. And we've got to make the right runs in the right channels as well. The set pieces could be key as well. I think if we work on our set pieces well in this game, I think that could be something where we could exploit. And we don't want to leave any gaps or spaces open, and then they'll just run into it. And Jamie Vardy will just run into that space and into that gap, and then he's free, get the shot off, and it's a goal. So yeah, difficult side Leicester. We've got to be up for the fight against Leicester. It's never easy. It'll be tough, but we've got to go in with the right mindset, the right mentality. We've got to prepare well against Leicester. Never easy, but they'll want to try and bounce back in this. We all want to bounce back. They'll make it their FA Cup final, and they know how to beat us as well. So we've got to try and spoil the party at Leicester, especially when we're going away from home. But I think going away from home now is probably what we need to get back going again. So I think the first goal is going to be crucial, and we've got to do what we need to do and go and beat Leicester. I've got full faith in this team that we can definitely beat Leicester, but don't be just relying on moments. You know, you've got to create the chances. When you create the chances, you've got to take the chances as well. Getting to the goals now. First goal, Varane passed the ball to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka passed the ball to McTominay. McTominay passed the ball to Greenwood. Greenwood passed the ball to Bruno. And Bruno plays in Martial. Martial scores for 1-0. Getting to the stats now. Possession for Man United, it was 71.8%. And for Everton, it was 28.2%. Goals for Man United, it was 1. And for Everton, it was 1. Total shots for Man United, it was 13, and for Everton it was 12. Shots on target for Man United, it was 6, and for Everton it was 2. Shot accuracy for Man United, it was 46.2%, and for Everton it was 16.7%. Shots inside the box for Man United, it was 9, and for Everton it was 10. Shots outside the box for Man United, it was 4, and for Everton it was 2. Total passes for Man United, it was 700 passes, and for Everton it was 268 passes. Pass accuracy for Man United, it was 86.7%, and for Everton it was 68.3%. Getting into the substitutions now. Martial went off for Sancho. Talk about Anthony's performance. Squandered a good-headed chance, but then scored against his whipping boys just before half-time. Departed before the hour. Cavani went off for Ronaldo. Talk about Eddington's performance. Should have scored with a header from Fred's cross. Not as effective as he was in midweek and came off along with Martial. Fred went off for Pogba. Talk about Fred's performance. Was a good conduit between defence and attack and ought to have claimed an assist. Brushed off too easily for Everton's equaliser. Next up, we've got Leicester City. Leicester are 13th in the table. Yep, this isn't going to be no easy game against Leicester. I think they want to revitalise their season in this game. Against us, it'll be their FA Cup final. We've got to try and spoil the party at Leicester. It's never easy to go to the King Power as well. You know, they've got the home advantage. And it's funny, the only game that they've won this season at home was in the first game week against Wolves. And that was 1-0. That's how struggling at this moment in time. You know, they've not won since the first game week. They're struggling. I think they'll want to try come into this game high hopes, high expectations. After coming off the international break, they'll want to try get their season going again. So we've got to really stay on our A game. We've got to prepare well, go with the right mindset, the right mentality. They're a very physical side. We've got to be ready for that as well. We've got to be ready for the pressure as well. Must defend properly as well against Leicester. And when we get our chances, we must take our chances as well. It's going to be difficult, not going to be easy. It will be tough, but if we break them down, getting the first goal will be crucial in this type of game against Leicester. We've got to go in with the right mindset, the right mentality. It will be a physical test. We've got to go into this game high expectations, high hopes. We've got to really treat it as a game that we really need the 3 points. A game against Leicester would get these players going again, definitely for sure. A game like this against Leicester would be perfect to get these players going again with difficult games coming up as well. I think a game against Leicester is probably what we need, with some really quality good players in there as well. Great manager as well, they're well coached, and we want to try and spoil the party at Leicester City, and we've got to do what we've got to do against Leicester at the end of the day. Leicester are scoring 1.3 goals per game. Leicester are conceding 1.7 goals per game. Leicester have won 2, drawn 2 and lost 3. They've lost to West Ham 4-1. They've lost to Man City 1-0 and they've lost to Brighton 2-1. Leicester City have won 1 game at home this season, and that was against Wolves in the first game week, and that ended 1-0. Leicester City have the 3rd worst defence in the league as well, which is very surprising as well. Players to look out for is Schmeichel, Soyuncu, Bertrand, Evans, Pereira, Vestergaard, Castagne, Thomas, Tielemans, Maddison, Albrighton, Barnes, Mendy, Ndidi, Samare, Vardy, Iheanacho, Perez, Daka and Lookman. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in a video in the next couple of days. And peace.